The race for space supremacy just took center stage in Congress. In a striking exchange, Senator John Kennedy questioned NASA officials about China's accelerating satellite technology and the growing fear that America's edge in orbit may be slipping away.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I really just came by to say congratulations. Well done. And you and your team did it with class. You did it with humility. The whole world was watching. You didn't go running around from every cable TV station going, look at me, I did this. You pointed to your team, and we need more like you in government. We got too many butt heads. So I just mainly came by to say thank you. Two things. I know you're familiar with Stennis and Michoud. I know you're taking a hard, analytical, critical look at our space program. To the extent you can tell me, what role do you see in the future for Stennis and Michoud? A lot of talented people there.
Senator Kennedy, thank you very much. And no doubt this was, a collective achievement across the entire NASA workforce, our contractors. This is really the best and brightest have come together for years to undertake this mission. And it is hard. There's a reason we haven't been back to the moon in 53 years. That is challenging. Send those astronauts safely farther into space than ever before. I think it's a proud moment. It was absolutely a collective effort, but I don't know the last time 4 people were able to make such a difference in the world as what we witnessed with Artemis II. And sir, we are just getting started. With respect to the 2 centers that you referenced, Stennis, I mentioned it before that we are trying to get to good center specialization. It makes it easier for the work we do at NASA, and not to mention reimbursable work for others. Stennis is our propulsion center of excellence. There's no doubt. They're the experts for testing our current engines, and they're also probably the most forward-leaning of any center to go where the puck to move where the puck was going, which was working with commercial industry as they develop their next generation engines, which are being tested there. I'll also point out, sir, the center director from Stennis is the one who's leading the overall agency workforce initiative right now. He's retiring in 9 months. He said nothing more than I want to leave the agency in a much better place than I found it from a workforce perspective. With respect to MAF, historic contributions going back to the landing craft during World War II, Apollo era shuttle, SLS now. So we put out a demand signal to industry. We want to increase the production of SLS. We want to launch with cadence. Again, not every 3 years, make it every year, and they're responding incredibly well to it. And we just put out an RFI to industry because we funded through the Working Family Tax Cut Act through Artemis 5. But if we're building a moon base, sir, then we're going to probably want to go there with frequency. We said we want to go to the moon every 6 months, 2 different pathways, so we never give up the moon. I have no doubt that those that are working at MAF are going to continue making hardware in support of that effort, sir. And I refer to them the Advanced Manufacturing Center of Excellence, sir.
I just read a piece. I don't know how much you can tell me, but I just read a piece this weekend on the plane, or Monday or something. I think it was in The Economist, but they were talking about the satellite technology in China and how it's being used to help Iran. We're ahead in terms of satellite technology, but they're catching up. You got any thoughts on that? And the national security implications, if you can share them in a public setting?
I think what I would say on the subject center, and of course you certainly know who to speak to when you get deeper into the national security area on this, is just that I'm not sure we can refer to the Chinese space program as a near peer, and I think they're a lot closer to their peer. And I certainly see it on what I would call the peaceful exploration of space, the civil side, except they draw no distinction over there. They continue to merge those departments. They recently just responded and merged their moon base with their human spaceflight program. They're moving incredibly fast. I think anything that we know from 6 months ago is so dated. They will have gone 2 generations past that already. It's a lot to keep up with. That's why I think it's so important that we've implemented change of late, standardize our approach, rebuild core competencies, rebuild muscle memory, because for decades when we didn't have a geopolitical competitor that could rival us in the high ground of space, it was one thing to try and make everyone happy, but if we continue to do that right now, no one's going to be happy because we're going to see the technonauts on the moon before us.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. Again, well played. Well done to you and your team.
Thank you, Senator.
The hearing began on a surprisingly positive note, with Senator John Kennedy praising NASA leadership for what he described as a historic achievement surrounding Artemis II. Kennedy emphasized the professionalism and humility shown by the NASA team, contrasting it with what he sees as the self-promotion common in Washington politics. But while the early moments felt celebratory, the conversation quickly shifted toward a much larger concern, America's future in the global space race. What started as congratulations soon became a serious discussion about competition, national security, and China's rapidly expanding technological influence. NASA officials used the moment to highlight the importance of key American facilities like Stena Space Center and Michoud Assembly Facility. They described them not simply as manufacturing sites, but as critical pillars of America's long-term strategy in space exploration. Officials stressed that the Artemis program is no longer just about returning to the moon once. The broader goal, they explained, is sustained presence, building infrastructure, increasing launch frequency, and ensuring the United States never loses strategic control of the lunar frontier. The message was clear: this is no longer symbolic exploration. It is geopolitical competition. Then came the moment that shifted the entire tone of the hearing. Kennedy referenced reports about China's rapidly improving satellite technology and its alleged assistance to nations like Iran. His question was direct: is China catching up to the United States in space technology, and what are the national security implications if it does? The response from NASA leadership was strikingly candid. Rather than dismissing China as a distant rival, officials admitted that China is moving incredibly fast and may already be much closer to parity than many Americans realize. That acknowledgement alone transformed the hearing from routine oversight into a warning signal. What made the exchange even more significant was the explanation that China does not separate civilian space programs from military objectives the way the United States traditionally does. According to NASA leadership, China's space efforts are tightly integrated, allowing rapid coordination between exploration, technology development, and strategic military positioning. Officials warned that information considered current just 6 months ago may already be outdated because of the speed of Chinese advancement. That statement reinforced growing concerns inside Washington that America may be facing its most serious technological competitor in decades. By the end of the hearing, the focus had clearly shifted from celebration to urgency. Kennedy's questioning highlighted fears that America's long-held dominance in space can no longer be taken for granted. The hearing underscored a broader reality now shaping U.S. policy: the next global power struggle may not be fought only on land or at sea, but in orbit above the Earth. And if the United States slows down while China accelerates, the consequences could extend far beyond satellites, affecting military power, communications, intelligence gathering, and the future balance of global influence itself.